So I realized that most of my other videos about my new homemade Deadeye build didn't show you all parts of the build. When I made those videos, I passively assumed people would watch the videos in order and wouldn't need me to show them the full build in every video. It occurs to me now that some of the people who visit my channel will not realize that I went over the full build earlier in the series. So here's a quick rundown of both versions of my homemade Deadeye build, followed by some other optional changes you could make to them. I'll start by showing you all parts of Draft 1. You can pause the video if you need more time to view something. Okay, now that I've showed you Draft 1, I'll quickly change it into the Draft 2 version for you now. I only need to change 4 things on Draft 1 to turn it into Draft 2. To say it verbally, Draft 1 has Be Quicker Be Killed on, as well as Blinding Powder, Dagger Storm, and Hide in Shadows. Draft 2 has Maleficent 7 on, along with Roll for Initiative, Shadow Meld, and Withdraw. At this point in time, Draft 2 is probably stronger than Draft 1 is, no matter who is playing it. So I'd suggest you pick Draft 2. I'll also mention another variation, which is adding a rifle to this build and putting Silent Scope back on to go with it. Notably, Shadow Meld just got nerfed to no longer remove the revealed effect, which will probably cause Deadeye to favor rifle a little bit more than it did when I first made this build. I'm leaning towards rifle plus short bow if you do this, but you could also do dagger pistol plus rifle. I'll show you Silent Scope's tooltip real quick. And here is my rifle tooltip just to help you remember. You could optionally do a few more small tweaks to go with the rifle and Silent Scope if you wanted to. Perhaps putting Dagger Storm back on the Draft 2 version and applying a Sigil of Energy to your rifle would be a good idea. Here are those tooltips. You could also change your remaining 5% damage increasing sigil to whichever one complements rifle the best. Or you could keep it so both sigils are 5% damage increases and adjust both of them to suit rifle. Perhaps putting two 5% damage increases onto short bow would turn out to be worth it as well. Also, because of the Shadow Meld nerf, Dagger Storm might start edging out Shadow Meld, no matter which weapon set or build draft you pick. It's certainly something to watch for. Another possible variation is you could change the healing power. You could change Hide in Shadows to Withdraw, or change Withdraw to Hide in Shadows. Importantly, Roll for Initiative recently had its cooldown reduced a lot. It now only grants 4 initiative. Importantly, Roll for Initiative recently had its cooldown reduced a lot, but it now only grants 4 initiative. I'll probably still use Roll for Initiative on Draft 2, but on the off chance the reduction to the initiative granted makes it less good, or you find you don't have enough reliable methods of entering stealth anymore, you could consider using something else in this slot. There are a lot of potential alternatives to test out, so I won't bother trying to list them in this video. I've contemplated adding Shadow Portal to this build situationally, though I don't expect to use it very often. Here is that tooltip. If you need to give yourself a little bit more survivability in exchange for losing some damage, you could either switch to Marauder's Amulet, or you could put on Rune of Divinity. Either of those options will pull your HP up to around 15k or 16k. You can also swap out the Critical Strikes Paragon for one of the other ones, perhaps Shadow Arts or Deadly Arts. Though this is a much more drastic change, and it's pretty much a different build altogether at this point. You could mess around with other weapons too. Though because this build is centered around having ludicrously high damage, I doubt the other weapon options are going to be a better fit than what I've discussed already. But you could certainly make other Deadeye builds that use them. There are other potential tweaks out there you could make to this build as well. This is just what I could think of. That is everything, guys. See you next time. I'll also be putting the link to this video in the description of my other videos that are about this same build.